key, moves it right wing, long three, won't go. Back the other way comes Inslee for Henderson. Reddies into the front court. They'll give it off to Joe McCoy. McCoy works it around the perimeter, hands off to Denzel Lyles. Lyles back up front, finds Josh French. Now to the left side, here's Jonathan Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald moves it back off to Denzel Lyles. Now the basketball turned over, coming up with it, Donahoe. Long coast-to-coast pass to Dominic Cornelius. He'll fire a two. It's up and in, and Southwest Oklahoma strikes first.
And that's what we see a lot of, both teams actually doing a lot of fast break. As we see right here, that can also lead to a couple of turnovers, so it's going to be who can take care of the ball the best. And right now, actually talking back into it, Southwest, you're going to see a lot of threes from them today.
Donahoe gives it back off to Thomas Davis. He knocks a player to the ground. They call the charge, and Henderson State will get to move it the other direction.
Going back to what I said about Southwestern Oklahoma and a lot of three-pointers, they're actually second in three-pointers made in the conference, so they're going to try to find that range on the outside, and they can do it. They've got a lot of size on the court for them.
2-0 our score. Inbound pass is going to come to Jonathan Fitzgerald. He'll move it from right to left for the Reddies. The give to Denzel Lyles. He's got it top of the key. Back to Fitzgerald. Now a pass inside. 2-pointers off the rim. Nothing doing for Josh French. Rebounded. The stick back. Won't go. Joe McCoy tried that one. Now the loose basketball picked up by the Reddies. Stick back won't go again. Now the basketball out of bounds. Knocked away. Last touch Henderson State. Or actually last touch Southwest Oklahoma. So it looks like that Henderson State will get to keep the basketball right here.
Well, we talked about that just a little bit before the pregame. There were 3 or 4 offensive rebounds for Henderson State, and that's why they're second in the conference.
Long inbound pass is worked inside to Jonathan Fitzgerald as he takes it across the time stripe. Over and back it goes, and the Bulldogs will get to move it the other direction.
And we're going to get ready. You know, you expect to see a lot of the same Southwestern Oklahoma team. A lot of assists, a lot of ball movement. They're top 3 in the conference in assists as well, so expect to see a lot of passes between their players.
Donahoe, top of the key, swings it around the edge of the arc to Chase Elliott. Back over to the near side to Thomas Davis. Davis out between the circles, works it back over to Chase Elliott. Elliott back up top, finds Davis again, down to the right corner. Long three coming, shots over the rim and no good. Rebound, Henderson State back the other direction. Here come the Reddies and Denzel Lyles. Lyles at the top of the key, double team, works it past a defender and gives back off to Fitzgerald.
And as we saw right there, you know, this Henderson State team really good at rebounds. We saw it right there, and now we're going to go for the big three, and that's a pretty good job. Long
threes on the way and in for Denzel Lyles, and that is the Reddies' first bucket of the ball game. 3-2 our score, 17:47 left to go in the first half. Donahoe into the front court, takes it into the paint, 2-point shot, hangs on the rim, won't fall. Back the other way come the Reddies. Into the front court, it'll be Andrew Inslee. Down low, he'll kick it out to the right wing. Denzel Lyles with the basketball. He'll move it off to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald down low from the right wing. Long three, falls short, won't go. Lyles can't get it. Back the other direction goes Donahoe for the Bulldogs. He'll work it back outside. Long three, on the way it in. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Dominic Cornelius, and it's a 5-3 ball game. Bulldogs leading.
And as we talked about a little bit, a lot of three-pointers that happened right there. They're going to make a lot of them. They're going to try a lot of them. The big thing is they're going to have to be able to out-rebound this very lanky Henderson State ready team.
The Reddies in the front court. Lyles swings it around the perimeter. He'll give it off to Inslee. Back up top to Jonathan Fitzgerald. Down low on the baseline. 2-point shot on the way it in for Josh French.
And there's the Cabot native going up with a big 2 points. As I mentioned, went to my home, Mater Carlisle, for a little bit. But Henderson doing a really good job of moving and really playing tough in the paint right now.
We're tied at 5. Here come the Bulldogs. Chase Elliott into the front court, works it into the paint. Backs it out toward the time stripe. 16:29 left to go in the first half. Here's a steal from Henderson. Inslee comes up with it. Up front, here's Jonathan Fitzgerald. He'll fire the 2 up and in, and Henderson leads it 7-5.
Henderson playing the style they want to play right now, getting up, getting in the paint, playing that physical basketball. If they can keep it in the paint, you got to really like the game for the Reddies.
Down to the right wing for the Bulldogs. It'll be Chase Elliott swinging it around the edge of the arc. Long threes on the way and in. 8-7 our score.
And you can't leave these Southwestern guys out on the perimeter like that. They're going to knock it down 9 out of 10 times.
Back the other direction. Here comes Henderson from the left wing. Long twos off the iron. No good. Loose basketball. Who's going to pick it up? Here come the Bulldogs with it. Cornelius into the front court. Works it in the paint. Outlet pass. Top of the key. 3-pointers off the rim and no good. Now the basketball's tipped out of bounds. And who will have the last touch?
Well, we got ourselves a pretty exciting ball game starting out here. 8-7. The fireworks have started early, and they're started often.
Absolutely. 8-7 our score, and we will keep it right here with 15:40 left to go in the first half as we come to the media timeout portion of the broadcast here. 8-7 our score, and we've got a lot happening later in the afternoon. Several games happening. As at 6 o'clock, Arkansas Tech takes on the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders. We'll have that game for you here on the GAC Sports Network. And then at 8:30 in the nightcap, Ouachita Baptist takes on Southeastern Oklahoma State. So lots of action here in Bartlesville for the rest of the afternoon, and we will keep you apprised of all of it here on the GAC Sports Network as people from across the South are tuned in watching the inaugural webcast. And, I got to tell you, this is really good. We've never had this video streaming before, with our predecessor conference. To have this type of deal is just, as a basketball fan, I'm just amazed by what the GAC has been able to put together.
Right, and as we mentioned a little bit before the break, or actually before the game, we talked about this GAC conference is going to be a real big name, I think, especially along Division II. GAC tournament not able quite to get that automatic invite to NCAA tournament, but I give that within next year once they get started. GAC will make a lot of noise come tournament time.
All right, out of the break, we've got an 8-7 Southwestern Oklahoma State lead, and Henderson State will have the basketball. Inbound pass is going to come to Jonathan Fitzgerald. He'll run from right to left on the radio dial. Brad Merrill, Blake Smith along with you here. Back to the near side, it's going to be Denzel Lyles. Lyles from the left wing, takes it down into the paint, travels with the basketball, and now Southwestern Oklahoma State will move it the other direction.
It seems like both teams are doing a pretty good job of keeping it up. Their style of play, Southwestern wanting to kind of slow it down and pass it around the outside. Henderson, however, wanting to attack and get inside.
Donahoe into the front court for the Bulldogs, swings it around the perimeter with a handoff to Philippe Torek, who's now in the ball game. Back into the paint it goes. Now to the right wing. They'll move it up to Zach Howe. Howe turns the ball over. Coming up with it, the Reddies. Joe McCoy with it. He'll give it off to Jonathan Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald in the paint. Almost gets it knocked away. Loose basketball on the floor. Who's going to get it? Henderson comes up with it. The Reddies. Going ahead, Blake.
As I say, you have to watch out for Southwestern team. They like to get in there and get in the paint. If Henderson really going to have to cut down on the turnovers. Off
the missed shot, Donahoe gets it outside. 3-pointers coming from Dominic Cornelius. 11-7 our score, and Southwestern Oklahoma State has a 4-point lead.
And once again, you can't leave this Southwestern team outside all alone like that. They'll knock those down. That aren't second or 3 points made in the conference for nothing.
14:30 left to go in the first half. 11-7 our score. And coming into the ball game for Henderson State is Kawan Watson, the senior forward from Little Rock.
We're seeing a really good game. Southwestern doing a really good job of keeping this much quicker Henderson State team on out with the term. They're playing disciplined basketball, and sometimes that's all you need to do is put the fun in fundamentals.
Donahoe out in the backcourt, swings it around the edge of the arc to Zach Howe. Now to the right wing it goes to Dominic Cornelius. Cornelius back to Philippe Torek. Torek down on the left side of the paint, gets an outlet pass near side. Cornelius again with it. He'll work it back over to Zach Howe. Long three-pointer coming. Cornelius with another three-pointer, and it's 14-7.
I got to tell you right now, it's raining threes for Southwestern, and they're going to take that shot all day.
Down in the left-hand corner of the screen, you could see the Goggle Girls from Southwestern Oklahoma State. They're here wearing goggles in honor of one of their teammates. We'll get a shot on them here in a few minutes, but they're doing a great job in supporting their team. There they are.
And there we see the Goggle Girls right there. Not a bad fan base to have behind you. Wouldn't mind them wearing goggles for me.
There's Donahoe into the front court. Dominic Cornelius swings it inside. Spoken like a true single man just outside out of college.
That's right.
Thomas Davis had the basketball, and now he draws a foul.
And this Southwestern team playing very well right now. You can see that momentum starting to shift. They're getting a little bit more confident as they inbound the ball.
2-pointers on the way in. We've got a timeout on the floor. 16-7 our score. 13:37 left to go in the first half. We'll take a break and be back right after this. You're watching the GAC Championship Conference Tournament on the GAC Sports Network.
144 All-Americans. Over $14 million in athletic facility improvements since 2005. The 2000 Baseball National Championship. Southeastern Athletics is striving to be the model NCAA Division II university.
13:36 left to go in the first half. Southwestern Oklahoma State leads Henderson State 16-7. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you on the GAC Sports Network. A two-point shot missing and no good for the Reddies. Everybody trying to get the basketball. Almost looks more like a volleyball game over there, and so keep tipping it around. But we've got a shot made and a foul called. We'll see which takes precedence.
Well, we saw right there that kind of height advantage for Henderson State. A lot of offensive rebounds, and that's really what they're going to need to try to get back in this one as they are down. Another fun fact right now, Cornelius for Southwestern Oklahoma State is 5 for 5 and 3 for 3 beyond the three-point line right now.
Back at the free throw line, it's going to be Andrew Inslee as Coach Doug Nichols shouts out his orders and gets everybody lined out and ready to go. First free throw is up and coming for the Reddies and Inslee. His first one's off the iron, no good. Loose basketball picked up. Here come the Bulldogs. Zach Howell out of the backcourt, gives it off to Chase Elliott. Now to the right wing. They'll bring it back over to Zach Howell.
Southwestern, once again, we talked about them doing a really good job of ball movement. That's what you're seeing right now, passing along, trying to find that open man on the outside perimeter.
Foul called away from the basketball. We'll see who this is on. Looks like it's going to be against Lester Johnson, the point guard from Shreveport. Bounce pass inside, two-pointer wide open was Dominic Cornelius, and he came down on top of Johnson. They'll call him for the charge, and Henderson State gets to take it the other direction. 18-9 our score, actually 16-9 our score, 13:07 left to play.
And Cornelius has really been playing very well right now. That wouldn't even really miss with the charge, but it would have went in, and right now he has a hot hand for Southwest Oklahoma.
Out of the backcourt, here come those Henderson State Reddies. Lester Johnson moving from right to left on the radio dial. Actually, we're on TV. Sorry, old habits die hard. Back the other direction. Philippe Torek takes it up to the top of the key. He'll work it from the right wing. A dribble inside. Gets it out to the left corner. Long threes in and out. No good. Rebound Josh French at Henderson State. And now a turnover. Coming up with the basketball. Chase Elliott. He'll put it up and in. And now we've got an 18-9 ball game. The Bulldogs out of nowhere to take a lead over Henderson.
Well, Henderson's going to have to cut down on the turnovers right now. 7 turnovers already, and that's really what's playing into Southwestern's favor right now, as Bulldogs are able to get those turnovers while they've been able to get one block and a couple of steals of their own.
And if you're Doug Nichols right now, you've just got to be really trying to get your team in shape here. And, of course, on the screen right now, in the background of that shot, the great commissioner and first lady of the Great American Conference, Chuck. Of course, Will Pruitt, his wife Stephanie, here for the entire week.
And right now we're seeing the rebounding come into play. Henderson really going to have to get those if they're going to try to climb back in this down 9.
Rumor has it that Stephanie Pruitt is actually the commissioner of the conference. Will just wears the title, but we'll just we'll have to investigate that.
We'll get back to you. We have a few days to get into that. We'll come back.
Bill and Hillary type thing? I don't know. 12 minutes left to play in this first half. 18-9 our score. And after a foul at the free throw line, it's going to be Matt Nicholson, the junior from Washington, Illinois.
And Henderson doing a good job of playing their game, which is get physical and get in the paint. They're doing a very good job of right now using that height advantage. But they're just going to have to cut down on turnovers, because that's been pretty much the story of the game so far.
Next free throw up and coming. Shots up, shots good. He got it.
And Southwestern trying to slow it down a little bit. We're going to see them probably try to once again keep passing along that perimeter, as they have been draining three-pointers all night.
Out at the top of the arc, it'll be Dominic Cornelius for the Bulldogs. He'll swing it around to Kenyon Borders. We'll get a clarification on that from Charlie coming up at halftime. Down low on the baseline, two-point shot partially blocked as Chase Elliott went up for the basket and drew the foul as he went in smack dab into somebody in midair.
Yeah, that's A lot of trees hanging around the paint for the Henderson State ready. Southwestern's going to have to avoid going into the forest like that.
18-11 our score. A timeout on the floor. 11:37 left to go in the first half. We'll take a quick break and be back after this. You're watching the 2012 Great American Conference Championship Basketball Tournament on the GAC Sports Network.
They say go to your happy place. I'm already there because I'm a college student at Southwestern Oklahoma State University. What's not to love about great friends and faculty, an amazing campus, and a quality education to prep me for success? It's more than a great value. It's a great life, 24/7, and I'm loving every minute of it.
What makes Henderson a better choice in education? Is it the campus or the buildings? Is it class size or professors with PhDs? Is it the cost, the value? What is it about Henderson?
It's me.
A strong educational foundation from Henderson put Richard Jacobs on the road to becoming a doctor. Today, he's at the forefront of pediatric research and care. Henderson prepares today's students for tomorrow because what counts is what you become. Henderson State University.
18-11 our score as the Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs lead the Henderson State Reddies. 11:37 left to go in the first half. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you from the Bruin Arena. Bruin Arena. Say that 3 times real fast, Blake.
I don't think I want to try that.
First free throws on the way and good for Chase Elliott. Another free throw up and coming. Chase from not far from here. Next free throw's on the way in. He's from Bristow, Oklahoma, Blake. Do you know where Bristow is?
I really like to tell you, but geography was not quite my major. I'm more of a journalism type of guy.
About 20 miles outside of Tulsa. Donovan Walker from the left wing kicks it back over to Lester Johnson. Now at the top of the arc. Long three, in and out, no good. Rebound, Southwestern Oklahoma. Philippe Torek will take it into the front court. Now they turn the ball over. The loose basketball on the floor. And about 5 people sliding across the time stripe. And as they slide across the time stripe, they get the over and back call.
Well, that's kind of, it's called, it was the referee that made the right call there. However, it's just, you feel kind of bad, but you do like to see the hustle from both teams getting on the floor and getting dirty.
11-12 left to go in the first half of play. 20-11 our score. Inbound pass given in to Kenyon Borders. Now to the right wing, they'll give it off to Philippe Torek. Torek back over to Chase Elliott. Elliott down in the paint. 2-point shots in and out. No good. Rebound Henderson State. Donovan Walker out of the backcourt. Takes it from right to left on the radio dial. He'll hand off to Lester Johnson. Johnson back to the near side. Long twos on the way it in.
And that's exactly what Henderson's going to have to do to get back some of those 7 points. It's just they can't quite hurry just yet, but be able to just kind of chip away at that lead and play inside. Diorve
Johnson with that last basket. Zach Howe coming up with the ball. He'll work it back over to the open Chase Elliott. Elliott with a left-handed dribble kicks it back over to Zach Howe. Howe out on the opposite sideline. Gives it back over to Philippe Torek. Long threes on the way, in and out, no good. Rebound, Henderson State. Johnson has it. He'll give it back over to Lester Johnson. And now a foul called away from the basketball on Zach Howe.
Right now, Southwestern shooting 44% from the three-point line, However, Henderson not quite able to keep up as they're only shooting 31% overall as a team. Henderson's really going to have to get that number up if they want to get back into this with 10-13 left to go in the half.
Got to tell you, it's like old home week here at the Great American Conference Tournament. Seen a lot of folks that we know. David Sharp, the athletic director at Ouachita, just made his way past the broadcast position. From the right side, Lester Johnson will dribble in to DeVore Johnson. Handoff over to Donovan Walker. 2-point shots in and out, no good. And Coach Sharp, he said, I walked by the trailer outside and heard the broadcast. And he said, I didn't even have to ask who it was. He said, we knew who was doing the ball game today.
Well, Grant, you've been doing this for quite a little while, I think. You've been, pretty been a while since you've been doing this around the state.
Inside, here comes Kenyon Borders, coast to coast. He'll take a 2-point shot, count the basket. He draws a foul on the way up.
That was a good little roll in right there. You thought he would. He got the little pickup there as the ball took a friendly roll for him into the basket, and I got to tell you, that was a heck of a play.
We want to welcome all of you watching from across the South today, and I guess wherever you are, at GreatAmericanConference.com. We've got a ton of people who have tuned into the broadcast via our live web stream today.
I can't
and
say
we
I'm really
appreciate each and every one of you.
Can't really say I'm too surprised by that. This GAC basketball really picked up. A lot of teams from around Arkansas and Oklahoma really support their hometown teams, and I'm expecting more as the day goes on.
Borders free throws on the way and in. Jonathan Fitzgerald takes it over to Andrew Inslee, who promptly travels with the basketball. And now Southwestern Oklahoma State will take it the other direction.
And that's going to make 10 turnovers in the first half with a little over 9:44 left to go in the first half. Still, Henderson State, 10 turnovers already.
Into the front court, here come the Bulldogs and Chase Elliott over to the near side. They'll give it off to Ryan Donahoe. 9:30 left to play here. Up top, Kenyon Borders. Giving it off to Donahoe again. 9:25 left to play. Donahoe dribbling inside the arc, takes it in the paint. Outlet pass to the left wing. 3-pointers in and out, no good. Rebound, who's got it? Somebody dragged it out of bounds, and I think it was Henderson State.
Looks like Southwestern's going to get the ball back, and again, that 3-point shot not quite falling as well for them this second half as they were shooting near or over 50% at the 3-point line. Now only about 40%, but still shooting 50% as a whole as a team.
Denzel Lyles inbounds the basketball. He'll give it off to Jonathan Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald takes it out to the top of the key. Now an outlet pass to the right wing. Kawan Watson has a 2-point shot from the inside. It's on the way in, and we'll see if they count the basket as a foul's called. And now Andrew Inslee's going to go to the free throw line. 23-15 our score. They do count that basket.
That's a good a 3-point attempt for Henderson. And talking about crowd noise, it sounds like there's a couple quiet fans behind me, quite loud, and we really like that coming in here, this GAC tournament.
They all wanted to sit by you.
I can't really blame them for that.
First free throw is on the way and in. I've noticed we have more pretty ladies around now that you've taken your position here at Press Row. I'm rather proud of you.
Well, I can't say, it's not quite that unexpected. I seem to have a following wherever I go.
You and Drew Brent, I don't know what to make of you two. Inbound pass is going to come from Philippe Torek. He'll send it inside to Ryan Donahoe as play resumes.
Looks like Southwestern's going to
play here.
Southwestern looks like they're going to try to slow it down a little bit coming across the half-court line.
Here's a 2-pointer. Up and under comes Chase Elliott. He'll make it a 25-16 ball game. 8:50 left to play in the first half. Back the other direction. Here comes Henderson State. Jonathan Fitzgerald into the front court, takes the top of the key. He'll swing it back over to the open Denzel Lyles. Lyles with a handoff to Joe McCoy. Now up and under for the 2. Here's a shot from Andrew Inslee that rims in and out, no good. Torek will take it the other direction. He'll push forward, giving it back off to Cornelius. Out to the right wing, a 3-pointer on the way and in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Zach Howell.
And we talked about that 3-point play of Southwestern. There he goes, coming back alive. They hit a little cold slump, but eventually keep shooting them. They're going to fall in.
28-16 our score. Out at the top of the key, it'll be Fitzgerald. He'll move it back over to the open Denzel Lyles. Back over to Andrew Inslee. Inslee down in the paint, gives it, finds a man down low. 2-pointer for Lyles, won't go. Rebound Reddies. Down to the baseline, 2-pointer, hanging on the rim. It won't fall. Henderson just can't get it in the hole today.
Sometimes you run into one of those days where the rim just isn't very kind to you and it keeps rolling out. Unfortunately, the tournament's a bad place to have that.
Chase Elliott brings it back over to Ryan Donahoe. That last little progression looks like me and Drew playing a game of horse. None of us can ever make the shot. Down on the baseline. 2-pointer on the way and in. Go ahead, Blake.
Well, I'd say I was more of a football player myself. Wasn't quite nimble enough for basketball.
Charlie Schaaf trying to figure out what's going to happen here. 7:17 left to go. Down low, 2-point shots off the rim and no good. A foul called. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 30-16 our score, 7:15 left to go in the first half. We'll take a break and be back right after this. You are watching the Great American Conference 2012 Conference Basketball Tournament on the GAC Sports Network.
Did you know the Ford F-150 was just named Motor Trend's 2012 Truck of the Year? It's all in the name, Motor Trend. See, the Ford F-150 is the only truck out there with EcoBoost, which is a powerful motor that also delivers on the trend of excellent gas mileage. It's the perfect combo, power and fuel economy. Try 365 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque, and an estimated 22 miles per gallon. No other truck engine has numbers like that. This is the future. This is the Ford F-150, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you. 7:15 left to go in the first half, and the Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs, the underdog in this one, with a 30-16 lead over the Henderson State Reddies.
Well, I got to give it to you. Before the game, you said don't let records fool you, and you're exactly right. As the underdogs, in the fight, Southwestern Oklahoma have a 14-point lead right now with 7:15 left to go in the half.
7:15 left to go, and out of the break at the free throw line, it'll be Jonathan Fitzgerald for the Reddies. First one's up and coming. He rims the first one off, and we'll have another one.
So far, pretty even on the rebounding as it's 12-8. Henderson with a slight advantage in the rebounding department. Actually, 12-9, but Southwestern are going to have to keep that rebounding pressure up if they want to be able to hang in there.
30-16 our score. Out at the left wing for the Bulldogs is Philippe Torek. He'll bring it back down to the open Ryan Donahoe. Donahoe fires a shot. It's missing and no good. Rebound Reddies. Denzel Lyles moves it the other direction. He'll throw it out of bounds, and now Southwestern Oklahoma will have it. 6:51 to play here. First half action in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
And that's going to make the 11th turnover for the Reddies. And when you're down by 14, you can't quite have those unnecessary turnovers like that.
Howell back to the near side to Ryan Donahoe. He'll move it back over to the open Philippe Torek. Torek with a cross-court pass, moves it over to Dominic Cornelius. Over to Ryan Donahoe, now to the quarter, long threes, on the way and in! Donahoe from long range makes it a 17-point lead for the Bulldogs.
I got to tell you, this three-point shooting Southwestern really impressive, hitting 50% of their shots and 57 of their shots overall as a team.
Another three for the Reddies, in and out, no good for Denzel Lyles. Rebound, Southwestern Oklahoma. Philippe Torek brings it back over to Ryan Donahoe. Donahoe's got it in the front court. Here's a cross-court pass on the near side to Zach Howell. Howell back over to Donahoe. He backs it out toward the time stripe. 5:50 left to go in the first half. 33-16 our score. Zach Howell back over to Ryan Donahoe. He'll move it back toward midcourt. Now a dribble inside as he takes it toward the paint. Outlet pass to the left wing. Long threes, in and out. Nothing happening for Zach Howell.
Howell not exactly... He's hit a couple. He's been off on a couple. He's kind of a streaky shooter, but I figure they're going to keep fitting him as he's done a pretty good job.
From the baseline, a shot partially blocked for Joe McCoy. The Bulldogs will get it back. Back across the court, coast to coast goes Cornelius as he goes up for the shot. It's out of control, and Henderson State will have it. Into the ball game for Henderson State. Well, actually for Southwestern Oklahoma. Thomas Davis. Well, I think Thomas Davis is coming out. We'll get it straight here today.
Well, actually, going back to the shooting percentages, Henderson only shooting 25% as a team from the field right now. Henderson's going to have to get that number up if they're wanting to get back in this.
Lester Johnson in the front court gets a quick handoff over to Joe McCoy. 5 minutes left to go in the first half. McCoy backed out toward the time stripe, dribbles forward, closely guarded, quick handoff over to DeVore Johnson. He'll take it down to the paint, down low on the baseline. 2-point shot, hangs on the rim, won't fall for McCoy. Rebound and a stick back on the way and in for Diorve Johnson.
And Henderson doing a good job trying to get it not all back at the same time, playing their game, keep driving to the inside. Eventually, points will happen for them.
Bulldogs turn it over in the front court. Henderson State will move the other direction, and here comes Lester Johnson. Johnson down to the paint, kicks it back over to Kawan Watson. Watson with a quick handoff over to Lester Johnson. Johnson on the right side of the paint. He'll kick it right wing, back over to Kawan Watson. Watson in 3-point range, runs the baseline, double teamed, outlet pass to the left wing. A dribble inside from Joe McCoy. He'll move it back over to Diorve Johnson. Johnson in 3-point range, moves forward. 2-pointers on the way it in for Lester Johnson.
Exactly what I was saying. Just before that, they're doing a good job of being patient, trying to find their shot on the inside. And now Southwestern is going to be forced to take a timeout.
33-20 our score. Charlie Schaaf wants a break. We'll take it with him. 3:58 left to go in the first half. We're back after this on the GAC Sports Network.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
33-20 our score. 3:58 left to go in the first half. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith back here with you in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, as the Bulldogs of Southwestern Oklahoma State, an unlikely candidate to be up over Henderson by this much, but we keep talking about the parity of the GAC. Here's another 3-pointer falling short. It won't go for Zach Howell, and the Reddies will take it the other direction. Inslee from the right side. Long 2 for Diorve Johnson won't fall. Who will get the rebound? Coming up with it is Kawan Watson. They'll bring it back up top to Diorve Johnson. 3:24 left to play. Handoff again to Kawan Watson. He'll take it out to the right sideline. Now the basketball turned over. Coming up with it, Donahoe. Donahoe in the paint. Tries to go up for the shot and draws the foul on his way up. Kawan Watson came up and under, bumped into him, and they'll call the foul.
Good effort trying to get the 3-point play to go. But
watch this again. And look at that.
Good effort by Southwestern going back. Henderson State doing a really good job on the boards of being able to get those offensive rebounds. However, their Achilles heel has just not been able to get any points off of them.
33-20 our score. 3:14 left to go in the first half. So glad you're with us on this Thursday afternoon, heading into a March Madness weekend in the GAC. And as you see right there, there are the Lady Bulldogs of Southwest Oklahoma State. They will be playing tomorrow. I'll get you a time on that here in just a second if I can pull it up. And of course I wouldn't have it ready. And that may be the youngest fan in the building this afternoon. How sweet is that?
It's like a little boll weevil fan right there, getting excited to watch it. After that game, you really can't blame them. Everyone would be a boll weevil after a great game we just saw last game before this one.
Southwestern Oklahoma State's ladies, by the way, play at 2:30 tomorrow. We'll have the game right here on GAC TV.
And you know they have to be inspired by the play of their male counterparts right now with a 13-point lead over, I would have to say, the favorite Reddies.
33-20 our score. And of course, Henderson State sat atop the conference standings for so long this year that it's kind of just odd to see them down by this much to anybody in this first round of the GAC tournament.
And that's why you come to tournament time, you have to throw away all the records, and you never know what's going to happen. These teams have seen each other a few times, so they're kind of been able to pick up, and it's kind of hard to beat a team a few times in a row.
Donahoe at the free throw line fires his first one. It's on the way in, make that a 14-point lead. Another free throw up and coming.
Actually, Southwestern shooting 100% from the free throw line as of this shot, and make that still 100% from the free throw line, and that's always going to help you on your scoreboard.
35-20 our score. Southwestern Oklahoma State led by Dominic Cornelius with 13 points so far. Into the front court, here come the Reddies. Around the perimeter, Andrew Inslee will swing it down to the baseline. 2-point shots blocked as Kawan Watson had a turnaround jumper going and just ran into a building there.
That's what sometimes we'll get hairy up in the forest when one of these players go up for the trees like that. And, however, able to do a good job maintaining. But Henderson will get a chance to increase on their free throws if they've only been shooting 50% from the line so far today.
Back at the free throw line, it is going to be Kawan Watson. Shots on the way in to make it 35-21. And look at this. We'll see about the foul here. Next free throw coming up. Shots up on the way, in and out, no good. Rebound, Southwestern Oklahoma.
Talk about the rim being unkind. That one just rolled around. Had no business popping out, but just kind of came out at the last second.
Up front, 2-point shot on the way off the iron. No good for Thomas Davis. 35-21 our score.
Henderson State really trying to get something going. However, not quite able to find their shot. Only shooting 27.6% from the field and 25 from the three-point line. Kind of a rough day for the Reddies.
Watson around the edge of the arc finds Lester Johnson. Johnson to Diorve. Johnson. Lester to Diorve. Back to Lester. Down to the paint. Outlet pass to the left wing. Long threes in and out. No good. Wow. They drag it out of bounds. And Henderson State had, I believe, the last touch, so the Bulldogs should have it here.
Well, it looks like number 12, Inslee, was able to get the rebound and throw it off for one of the Southwestern Bulldogs. Good awareness by him to realize where he was on the court.
2:10 left to go in this one. Saw my old friend Kyle Luttrell from Image One here. They are doing all the T-shirts for the tournament. Hope you can get one if you come up here. 2-point shots on the way and in for Henderson State and Andrew Inslee. That makes it a 35-23 ball game. And Zach Howe will send it back in for the Bulldogs.
Southwestern looks like they're going to try to put some pressure on.
Howe out of the back door. Brings it back over to the near side to Philippe Toy. Sorry, Blake, I had about 3 voices going ahead.
I was just saying, Henderson putting on the pressure, trying to create a couple of turnovers. They've been able to find some success in the paint here lately, and they're going to try to maybe take that with a little bit of momentum going into that.
Zach Howe travels with the basketball. He, I don't believe, thought he was guilty of that charge, but that will leave Henderson State to take it the other direction.
Well, when you're a referee, no matter what, you're always right.
Don't tell that to some of them in the SEC. Down low on the baseline, Kawan Watson fires a 2. It's in and out, no good. Rebounded the stickbacks on the way it in. 35-25 our score. We've got a 10-point ball game, and Henderson State is chiseling away at this Bulldog lead.
And, you know, that's a little momentum carrying back into the half. They're doing exactly what they're wanting to do, and that's get inside the paint and try to get some points.
Donahoe to Zach Howe. He tries a 3, and it won't go. Back the other direction come the Reddies. From the right wing, Diorve Johnson takes it down to the corner. Now the basketball is loose, and we got a foul call. And somebody got a little too physical in the process of knocking it loose.
Well, you know, you always like to see a good effort, and sometimes that happens. Get an aggressive play, and we'll take a look at the replay. As you can see, just tries to make a play on defense. Gets inside, and sometimes that'll happen when you go in on the pump fake. Good job by Henderson to draw the foul and try to get a couple points with less than a minute left to go in the half.
35-25 our score. Back at the free throw line. At the free throw line, we'll see what happens here. 35-26 our score. Trying to find out who we've got lined up as our halftime guests. Next free throw's on the way. Good for Kawan Watson of the Reddies. 48.6 seconds left to play. Inbound pass coming from Zach Howe. They give it off to Philippe Torek. Torek back over to Kenyon Borders. Borders in the paint, fires the 2. Shots off the rim and no good. Rebound to Diorve Johnson. Johnson back the other direction. Kicks it to Lester Johnson. Johnson slowing the pace of things with 30 seconds left to play.
Henderson trying to get back in this one. They've done a pretty good job of chipping away with it, and that's going to give them some momentum coming into it. Get it back under a 10-point ball game. And, you know, Doug Nichols is probably going to have to say a few things in the locker room to try to get his team fired up for the second half.
Shot and block for Lester Johnson. He scoops it up and puts it back up and in on the stick back. And now we've got a 6-point game. 7 seconds left to go. Long threes, in and out, no good. 2 seconds, 1 second. A shot at the buzzer from half court. Won't go for Henderson. We've reached halftime. Josh French trying that last one. And your analysis of the first half, Blake.
Well, I got to say right now, Henderson not quite being able to find the rim as they've actually increased their shooting percentage all the way up to 32%. And when you have a game sometimes like that, not a lot of luck at the three-point line either, shooting only 20%. However, on the opposite side of that, Southwestern doing a good job shooting 44% from the field and 37.5%. Cornelius for Southwestern, 3 of 4 from the three-point line and 5 of 6 overall. 13 total points. The big story, turnovers right now. Henderson, 12 turnovers. However, Oklahoma State only 8. So Henderson's going to have to do their job. They did what they wanted to, get back into the paint if they want to try to cut this lead as it's now only 29-35.
All right, we will take a break and be back right after this. 35-29 our score. Henderson State trailing Southwestern Oklahoma State. And here in Bartlesville, you're watching the GAC Sports Network. We're back after this.
What makes Henderson a better choice in education? Is it the campus or the buildings? Is it class size or professors with PhDs? Is it the cost, the value? What is it about Henderson?
It's me.
A strong educational foundation from Henderson put Richard Jacobs on the road to becoming a doctor. Today, he's at the forefront of pediatric research and care. Henderson prepares today's students for tomorrow because what counts is what you become. Henderson State University.
Blake, you know, if you're Henderson State, you've got to be getting a wake-up call. What's Doug Nichols saying to him in the halftime locker room right now?
Well, right now they're just saying you have to finish, you have to finish, you have to finish. They're only shooting 32% from the field right now. At one point it was down to 25%. Although an interesting stat for Henderson, something they can build on, is that they have actually out-rebounded Southwestern, 29 total rebounds to 12. Southwestern has not got an offensive rebound yet in this game.
And I know as we take a look at Southwestern Oklahoma State, what's Charlie Schaaf saying to his team to keep this lead?
Right now, basically, you just have to keep doing. You have to keep playing hard, and you have to keep getting the steals and turnovers. They have 5 steals and 2 blocks. They forced 7 turnovers. Henderson has 12 turnovers. So basically, they're just going to have to keep the pressure on and keep that three-point game going as they've been able to hit 37% from the field so far tonight.
35-29 our score. Leading off Henderson State as Denzel Lyles takes it into the paint. He tries to work it down to the baseline. Now Southwestern Oklahoma State will take it the other direction.
That's not exactly how you want to start off if you're Henderson State, is with a turnover. They've had 12 in the first half. This would be their 13th in the game so far.
35-29 our score. Inbound pass is going to be given to Ryan Donahoe. Donahoe will take it into the front court. He'll move it over to the top of the key. Back over to the near side to give us to Dominic Cornelius. Back out to Ryan Donahoe. In the paint, it goes to Chase Elliott. He'll kick it right wing. Back to Cornelius. Down low in the baseline. 2-point shots on the way in for Chase Elliott.
That's exactly what you expect from Southwestern. Slow the game down, try to pick their spots, and really just try to find the open man. They have a really good job of passing it around and doing a good job of getting those assists.
19 minutes left to go. 2-pointers on the way in for the Reddies. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Andrew Inslee on that one. 37-31 our score. A 6-point lead for the Bulldogs. And you know, you look at all of this, and it only takes 1 point for a win. Long threes on the way it in. That, ladies and gentlemen, Dominic Cornelius, 40-31 our score.
And Cornelius has just been a really hot hand. 4 or 5 from the three-point line so far tonight. He's a big reason why this Southwestern team has the lead right now.
Out of the top of the key for the Reddies is Jonathan Fitzgerald. He'll give it down to an open teammate on the baseline. 2-pointer stripped away for Andrew Inslee. And we've got another whistle and an out-of-bounds call as Henderson State had the last touch, so Southwestern Oklahoma will move it the other direction.
And once again, we're talking about turnovers. That has been the Achilles heel for this Henderson State team so far. You can't score if you don't have the basketball.
Donahoe into the front court, takes it top of the key. He'll work it over to an open teammate, Thomas Davis. Davis kicks it back over to Donahoe. 18 minutes left to go. A 9-point lead for Southwestern Oklahoma. Running the baseline. Howe gives it off to the open Thomas Davis, and now we've got a foul called. Josh French came up and under, as you'll see on the rebound, or on the replay. Watch this play. And they're going to call the foul and say that Henderson State can have it after a charge.
And there, right now, you saw he did a good job, just the basic set. He planted his feet, and then once the defender establishes position, not able to get run into like that. And a good job here. He might have helped it out a little bit with a little bit of acting toward the end of that play, but good job of Henderson State to get the ball back. Fitzgerald
trying to move it to the top of the arc, and we've got a whistle and a stop of the action. I think somebody, well, they just paused for a moment, and now Fitzgerald will take the basketball. He'll give it back over to Joe McCoy. McCoy out to Denzel Lyles on the left wing.
And Henderson State doing a really good job. You know, once again, you have to watch the turnovers, and that kind of bit Henderson State.
Elliott coast to coast, goes up for the shot, draws the foul on the way up, Blake.
And once again, as I was saying before, is that turnovers are going to have to be a key factor in this game. And right now, that 9-point game, hard to win when you have 15 turnovers, over 10 in the first half. Henderson State really going to have to cut down on that if they want to be able to come back and win this.
Charlie Schaaf gently pleading his case to the referee is going to the free throw line is Chase Elliott.
When you have a lead like that, you'd really hate to try to get too aggressive with the referee and end up doing something that may end up costing your team in the long run.
Back at the free throw line. The shot is up on the way. Good. Nails it. Chase Elliott. Let's see how many points he has. That's going to be his 11th point of the game. He's the second highest scorer right now for the Bulldogs.
And going back to the free throws being so important, the Bulldogs have yet to miss one. Now, of course, that I say that, you have to be careful of the commentator curse.
Well, we've jinxed enough teams. I think you can get by with it.
Knock on wood here anyway.
Next free throws on the way. Good. 42-31 our score. You talk about the commentator curse. I remember one time Congressman Steve Womack was doing a ball game between Southside and Rogers, and they were down almost to like the last 10 seconds, and he says Rogers is 10 seconds away from being the state championship, and Rogers threw an interception. Southside ran it back and for a touchdown and beat him.
Oh, wow.
You talk about the commentator curse. That's probably the worst one I've ever heard.
That's nothing quite like that feeling when knowing right after you say something that comes back and bites you right in the butt.
Hey, he still got elected to Congress, so you know, it didn't hurt him there. Inbound pass is going to be given in to Matt Nicholson for the Reddies. He'll bring it back over to Lester Johnson. Johnson at the top of the key, swings it back over to the open Andrew Inslee. Now to the left wing goes Joe McCoy. McCoy back over to the right wing to Lester Johnson as he goes inside. They say his trip lacked a dribble, and just like that, Southwestern Oklahoma State will take it the other direction. Watch this. You'll see him travel right here.
And as you can kind of accredit this to the swarming Southwestern Oklahoma defense, that they've just been all over the ball. Everywhere it goes, there's about 2 or 3 guys right there on it.
Cornelius brings it back over to Zach Howell. Howell will give it to Philippe Torek. Torek at the top of the key. Backs out toward the time stripe. Between the circles now, he'll bring it back over to Zach Howell. To Ryan Donahoe. Back to Howe. His shot for three. On the way. In and out, no good. And coming up with the rebound, Joe McCoy.
And Howe not having a little trouble here in the second half, trying to find his range from the three-point line. Had some success in the first, however, not quite able to get that one to go.
Bounce pass down low. 2-pointers on the way it in for Joe McCoy. 42-33 our score. 16:09 left to go in the ball game. Grand Barrel, Blake Smith along with you here on GAC TV. From the right wing, here's Ryan Donahoe. Down low to Thomas Davis.
And we see Southwestern just trying to take some time off of the clock as every second counts for them right now. Henderson been able to climb back. We're down by 14 or 15 at one point, only to come back and make this within a 10-point ball game. So Southwestern's just trying to hold off the charge right now.
Timeout on the floor. We'll keep it right here. 42-33 our score. 15:51 left to go, Blake. And, Southwestern Oklahoma State still kind of holding on to this 9-point lead, able to keep it intact. And, if you're Charlie Schaaf, how do you keep that for the next 15 minutes?
Well, right now you just kind of tell your team, play smart. You can't have the turnovers. And right now, honestly, I'm probably going to feed it to number 5, Dominic Cornelius, who has just been amazing from the field as he's 6 of 7, 4 for 5 from long range. I'm saying you're probably going to have to feed him the ball here in the next 15, 16 minutes.
42-33 our score. And of course, Doug Nichols preaching his gospel to the Henderson State Reddies across the way. And I know that's probably a spirited conversation, trying to get them motivated to come back and narrow this deficit.
Well, if you're saying one thing right now, it's hold on to the basketball. 16 turnovers for Henderson State right now, and then for them to only be down by 9 points, you really can't ask for much more than that. But if, as I mentioned before, you can't score unless you have the basketball, and turnovers are not exactly going to help your case this late in the game.
42-33 our score. 15:51 left to go in the ball game. Inbound pass is going to come in from Zach Howe on the baseline. He lobs it way across the court, bringing it over to an open teammate. That's going to be Thomas Davis. Davis from the right wing takes it down to the baseline. 2-point shot is marred by a charge call, and now Henderson State will get to take it the other direction. Is it me, or have we seen the charge call more today than just about any time in the year?
More often than not, that charge call is usually going to go the other way to the offense, and it's going to be a foul. However, whether it's just the referees feeling a little bit more defensive today, or Henderson State just able to basically have the fundamentals to get their feet planted.
Lester Johnson will take it into the front court. Down to the paint, 2-point shot. Bounces high off the yard. It will not go for Andrew Inslee. Southwestern Oklahoma will take it the other direction. 2-point shot won't go.
They were right there, not able to get his feet planted, and that's why we're going to see to the free throw line a little bit different as to outcome a couple of charge calls. We'll take a look at the replay right here. As you see, gets the ball on the inside to number 4, Howe doing a good job of going up before the defender can set his position, and now he's going to take a trip to the free throw line for his efforts.
Back at the free throw line here comes the first one. It's on its way. Good. Zach Howe gets that one. 43-33 our score.
And so far it's been, if you're Southwestern right now, you're probably thinking you have to get a couple of rebounds if you've been out-rebounded. As I mentioned at the half, 29 rebounds. I'm not sure if Southwestern's had an offensive rebound yet in this game, which is really surprising considering they're ahead.
Back the other direction. Here come the Henderson State Reddies. Andrew Inslee swings it around to the edge of the arc. He'll bring it back over to Kawan Watson. Watson back up front. Long threes on the way it in for Diorve Johnson.
That was a good job by them. He had a defender draped all over him, had a hand in his face and everything, and really couldn't guard him much better than that.
Zach Howe from the right wing brings it over to Dominic Cornelius. Back to Howe. Long threes on the way it in.
You see Howe answered back with the three of his own right there. as we mentioned, this Southwestern team very good at the three-point line.
47-36 our score. Back the other direction for the Reddies is Jonathan Fitzgerald. He'll swing it back over to Inslee. Inslee down to Fitzgerald again. 2-point shots on the way and in. We've got a timeout on the floor. 14:22 left to go in the first half. 47-38 our score. The Bulldogs on top of the Reddies. We're back after this on the GAC Sports Network.
The NCAA Division II student-athlete experience goes beyond the classrooms and playing fields. It means a commitment to service and community, helping organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation by raising money to help grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. Kids like Jacob.
We welcome you back. 47-38 our score. 14:22 left to play. The whistle blows again as we get back into the action here, and I'm not sure exactly what the referee's displeasure is here.
They're looking at something, talking to the coach right now. Looks like talking to Shafe, and I really have no idea what they're talking about.
47-38 our score. And the inbound pass is going to come from Zach Howe. Howe brings it back over to Ryan Donahoe. Donahoe back over to Zach Howe again. Quick handoff to Dominic Cornelius. And now as they bring it back over to Philippe Torek. We'll see what happens here. Substitution forthcoming for Henderson State. Josh French will come into the ball game, taking the place of Matt Nicholson. And now another whistle and another foul called. 14:07 left to go in the ball game. 47-38 our score.
And Southwestern doing exactly what they want to do right now, getting back to the free throw line where they have been phenomenal so far in this game.
Back at the free throw line. First one's up on the way it in for Southwestern Oklahoma State and Philippe Torek. 14:07 left to play here.
10-point ball game, as you mentioned. Henderson State keeping within striking distance, however, not quite able to close that gap beyond, I believe, 8 to 6 points is about the lowest they've been able to, but still being able to hang in the game, but still a lot of time left.
Glad to have you along with us wherever you are this afternoon. You might be in Zagreb, Croatia. That is where Philippe Torek, who just shot that free throw, is from. Maybe watching across the world today.
That's a good little distance.
49-38 our score. Out at the top of the key, Diorve Johnson brings it back over to Jonathan Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald tries to put up the shot. It's in and out, no good.
There we see a foul. Henderson State going to take a trip to the free throw line. Their night not quite as good, shooting over 50%, 60% from the line right now. Hopefully increase that numbers, but kind of hard to compete with 100% Southwestern shooting right now.
13:48 left to play in this one. 49-38 our score. First free throws on the way it in for Henderson State and Jonathan Fitzgerald. The 11th other one coming.
Henderson State trying to climb back in this, make this under a 10-point game.
Next free throws off the iron, no good. Rebound Torek for the Bulldogs. Philippe Torek out of the backcourt. Closely guarded as he tries to make his way through traffic. And the turnover is Matt Nicholson. Comes away with the basketball and a collision under the basketball goal.
And I thought that ball was going to go in. I thought he was going to have a chance at a three-point play right there. However, Henderson State, that rim has just not been very kind to him.
Watch this replay. I can almost see Jason Moyer's heart stop as one of those players went for his $1 million camera back there behind the goal.
I'm sure he's worried about that camera. First question he would have asked, is camera all right? And then how about Patrick?
Yeah. First free throws up and in, and Andrew Inslee will have another one for the Reddies. 49-40 our score. Next free throws off the iron, no good. Torek with the rebound. He'll take it the other direction. Torek gives it over to Donahoe. Donahoe out of the backcourt, moves from right to left on your screen. And now Charlie Schaaf wants to take a timeout. 13-16 left to go in this one. Our score, Southwestern Oklahoma State 49 and Henderson State 40. You're watching the GAC Sports Network. Welcome back. 49-40 our score. 13-16 left to go in this one. Ryan Donahoe will take it out of the backcourt, moving from right to left. Moving to the top of the key. Quick pass over to Kenyon Borders.
Southwestern doing a pretty good job of being able to keep off this Henderson State pressure they've been applying. They've changed it up a little bit and doing a good job of still trying to find some room on the outside. However, that shot not able to fall down.
Back the other direction. Here comes Jonathan Fitzgerald. Moving it back over to Diorve Johnson. Johnson down low, knocks it out of bounds. And actually, they'll say the last touch was by Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs, so Henderson State will keep it right here.
Good call by the ref. Is able to do a good job of breaking up the pass, however, not able to get complete control of the ball. And right there, a bad break for Henderson.
Up front, two-point shot on the way it in for Ryan Donahoe. And Fitzgerald will move it the other direction. Fitzgerald with a handoff over to Kawan Watson.
Henderson State team having a problem trying to break inside that single-digit mark. Seems like once they get it within 8, 6 or so, Southwestern does just enough to get on a run. And then right there, we almost see another Henderson State turnover, which have been pretty much the story of this game so far.
51-40, our score. 11:58 left to go. Southwestern Oklahoma State up by 11.
Southwestern doing a good job shooting from the field so far, 47%. However, the story is 40% beyond the three-point line, as they've been able to drain a lot of their threes, especially Dominic Cornelius for the Bulldogs. 4 or 5 from long range with 16 points.
11:48 left to play here, and Blake, I know that you take a look at how to overcome an 11-point deficit if you're Henderson State, and Doug Nichols has got to be scrambling and trying to go over every option he can.
11 points, it's a big lead, of course, but it's not quite insurmountable, and that's what you got to tell your guys right now. We're down, but there's still almost 12 minutes left of ball game to go, so you really have to keep playing, keep fighting, keep in the paint, and you have to keep from turning it over, which they've done a pretty good job. However, 16 turnovers. They've only been able to get 2 blocks and 5 steals, however, but not able to quite hold on to the basketball that well. And on the opposite end, Southwestern, you have to be able to rebound a little bit better, as they've only had Henderson State has nearly out-doubled them in the rebound department on the offensive and defensive side of the glass, especially on the offensive side. When you miss those baskets, you got to be able to get up there and put those points back, and I think that would help them, although a big reason that they're winning, shooting 100% from the free throw line right now at Southwestern.
51-40 our score, 11:48 left to go in the ball game. Thank you for being with us here today on the GAC Sports Network. It's been a pleasure to be here this week. And Blake, we've got plenty of action even today spanning into tonight.
As you mentioned, we have several games coming up. We saw a really good game between Arkansas, Monticello, and Harding just a little while ago. This game shaping up to be pretty good itself, as it seems like it's been pretty exciting from the get-go.
Next free throw's up and coming. Shot is on the way, good. For Ryan Donahoe. Another one is on its way, good.
And Southwestern, again, 100% from the free throw line. That is just incredible.
Back the other direction. Here come the Henderson State Reddies. Lester Johnson out on the right wing. Gives it off to an open teammate. That's Andrew Inslee. Two-point shot falls short, won't go. Back the other direction is Ryan Donahoe.
Southwest doing a pretty good job just letting that clock run, setting the shots up, making sure they're being selective about where they shoot it from, and just trying to hang on to this lead and try to get those one-on-one matchups.
Two-point shot. Falls off the rim, no good for Philippe Turek.
And no real big surprise by the rebound there by Henderson. If they've been dominating the rebound board, but it looks like a scramble on the floor.
And we got a timeout on the floor. 11:01 left to go. 53-40 our score. We're back after this on the GAC Sports Network.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
with commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Welcome back. 53-40 our score. Lots of basketball action coming up tonight. 6 o'clock p.m. has Arkansas Tech and SAU in action, so we hope you'll be there for that one. Chase Elliott goes up for a shot and draws a foul, a pushing foul. We'll see who this is on for Henderson.
Take a look at the replay. Looks like they're probably going to call that foul on number 54, Matt Nicholson. And at free throw line up for Southwestern, who have been phenomenal so far tonight.
Next free throws off the rim, no good.
And I believe that was their first missed free throw of the night, so not a bad job at all from shooting from the line for Southwestern.
Next free throw up and coming. Shot is up on the way. Good, he got it.
And actually, I looked over at some of the rebounding stats. Southwestern somehow, even with the lead that they have right now, one offensive rebound so far in this game, and that just seems crazy to me.
54-40 our score. Henderson State brings it back over to Andrew Inslee, over to the left wing. Long three, in and out, no good for the Reddies. The loose basketball, who's going to pick it up? Everybody tried, and I think, did Nichols get a timeout in before they, I think he called the timeout before they were able to call the jump ball.
Looks like the refs are talking about it. I think they are going to give him the timeout before the jump. And
so he wisely takes the timeout. 10:36 left to play, and we'll keep it right here. Coming up tonight, as we mentioned, Tech and SAU at 6 p.m. We've got an 8:30 nightcap as well. Number 4, Washita Baptist taking on number 5, Southeastern Oklahoma State. I'm going to tell you right now, that may be the best game that we see today between those two very evenly matched teams, Blake.
And even looking at conference record and even overall record, they're right there neck and neck with each other. Both finished 500 in GAC play at 8-8 each. I got to tell you, that game's going to be something. I expect a lot of fireworks going to be happening there.
There's lots of basketball action around the states of Arkansas and Oklahoma as well, as this is, of course, state tournament weekend for high school basketball. Saw some members of the Bartlesville Lady Bruin basketball team heading into practice a few minutes ago. We've kind of displaced them from their own gym here, so there's a lot happening in the basketball world. Back the other direction. Here come those Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs. 2-point shots on the way and in for, who is it? Chase Elliott. Back the other direction, it'll be Lester Johnson. Moving from left to right, and bring it back over to Andrew Inslee.
An amazing set that I saw that Henderson State has a plus 14 rebound margin right now and still down 16. These Bruins doing a really good job of making their shots count.
Elliott into the front court, kicks it over to Zach Howe. Howe to Kenyon Borders. Borders back to Howe on the right wing. 9:43 left to play. And bring it back over to Ryan Donahoe. Donahoe to Borders again, back to Donahoe. Now a 2-point shot's on the way and in. 56-40 our score, 58-40 our score, 9:22 left to go in this one.
It looks like Southwestern has 4 players in double-digit points right now, so they're doing a really good job of getting that rock around to about everybody.
Down on the baseline, 2-point shot on the way and in. That's Matt Nicholson for the Reddies. 58-42 our score.
And the Reddies doing a good job. They're really having to try to get inside. They're going to have to probably hurry up the pace a little bit as time is slowly starting to turn on their side. The Southwestern doing a good job of playing keep away.
Borders to Donahoe. The basketball knocked loose. Everybody after it. Now we've got a jump ball call. 8:43 left to go in this one. Grand Barrel, Blake Smith along with you on the GAC Sports Network today. So glad you've joined us from wherever you are.
Looks like we've been in for a pretty good couple of games here to start off, and as you mentioned, a couple of more good games coming in as we get ready to start Arkansas Tech and Southern Arkansas after this game, and the nightcap, Washington Baptist and Southeast Oklahoma State.
From the left wing, a long three on the way, off the iron, no good for Zach Howe. And coming up with the basketball, Henderson State. Denzel Wiles into the front court, double team, tried to put up the shot, couldn't do it. Basketball goes the other direction with Zach Howe taking it. Before he could get out of the backcourt, the whistle blows, and we've got a foul call.
I was only expecting a jump ball there, but it looks like we'll be taking a trip to the free throw line. And that's going to fit right into Southwestern's favor as they've shot 93.3% from the line so far, only missing 1.
58-42 our score. 8:21 left to go in the ball game. Here's a free throw on the way and in for Zach Howe. He'll have another one.
And with that free throw, that'd be 18 free throws attempted, 17 made so far. And I think that's part of a major reason why the Southwestern team on top of the Reddies so far.
Inslee back over to the open Joe McCoy. He'll get it down in the paint. Off to Josh French. French on the other direction. Gives it off to Joe McCoy again. Into the paint. 2-point shots on the way and in for Andrew Inslee. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 8:04 left to go in this one. 59-44 our score. A 15-point lead for the Bulldogs of Southwestern Oklahoma State. We're back after this half-minute timeout. You're watching the GAC Sports Network.
They say go to your happy place. I'm already there because I'm a college student at Southwestern Oklahoma State University. What's not to love about great friends and faculty, an amazing campus, and a quality education to prep me for success? It's more than a great value. It's a great life, 24/7, and I'm loving every minute of it.
59-44 our score. 8 minutes left to go in this one as Southwestern Oklahoma State leads it by 15. Brad Merrill, Blake Smith with you in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Out at the top of the key, Kenyon Borders for the Bulldogs. Swings it around to Philippe Torek. Torek brings it back over to Kenyon Borders. He'll move it down into the paint. Down to Chase Elliott. I'm bringing it back over to Dominic Cornelius. From the right wing, Elliott again, double teamed. 7:33 left to play. And now the basketball stolen away. Jonathan Fitzgerald gets it. He'll work it into the paint down low. 2-point shots on the way it in for Josh French.
That's exactly what Henderson's going to do if they're going to have to get back in this, is make every basket count. We saw a lot of good ball movement on the last couple of possessions from them. And for them to get back and try to win this thing, that's exactly what they're going to have to do.
Cornelius to Borders. Borders down in the paint, takes it out toward the right wing. He'll give it up to Chase Elliott. Elliott back over to Borders, and now we've got another whistle as bodies fly everywhere near the half-court stripe.
That kind of tells you what type of game we're seeing right now, a real physical game. A lot of bodies, we've seen bodies all over the floor and all over the court.
7:02 left to go in this one, 59-46 our score. Game number 2 of the 4-game stretch that we've got today. We've got, in all, we've got, 14 games that we're doing between now and Sunday, or that we'll do in the process. You're counting them all up.
I'm trying to. I'm a journalism major, not a math major, but 14 sounds about right. Boys and girls action for GAC tournament play. I got to tell you, I expect a lot of good games. No game has disappointed so far in this tournament.
Let's take a look at some stats while we've got the break. Southwestern Oklahoma State right now shooting 46% from the field, 38% from beyond the three-point arc, and 88% from the free throw line. Henderson State shooting 36% from the field, 22% from beyond the three-point arc, and 57% from the free throw line. So you see those percentages play, but what does that kind of begin to tell you as we go into this last stretch of the ballgame?
Well, it basically kind of tells you how this game's been going. Henderson State has actually been able to increase. They played better as the game go on. At one point, about midway through the first half, they were only shooting around 25%, able to jump that up to 36, and their three-point, they haven't quite been able to find it, but as they've only attempted, however, only about 8 or 9 at 3 points. But the big story in Henderson's case is going to be the rebounding stats, which they've out-rebounded Southwestern 36 rebounds to 23. That's a 13-plus rebound margin, which is a really big margin.
Wow, did you see that? A quick tip in from Josh French of the Reddies. Nice way for the Reddies to put 2 points on the board. 59-48 our score. And here come the Bulldogs. Torek into the front court. Takes it down to the left wing and Chase Elliott. Elliott with a quick pass inside. 2-point shots on the way it in for Dominic Cornelius. And that, wow. Henderson State tries to take it the other direction, then Bulldogs steal it again. Back at the top of the key, Howe swings it around to Cornelius. Dominic out between the circles in three-point range. He'll launch forward, giving it back out to Howe. Now between the circles to Donahoe.
And that was actually the 18th turnover committed by the Henderson State Reddies. And that's really something they're going to have to work on as it goes on. You can't turn the ball over, otherwise it'll lead to easy basket.
63-48. The Goggle Girls are going crazy behind us.
Well, we can't really blame them. Right now, their Southwestern team looks like they're about to pull an upset this early in the tournament. Excited to see that.
2-point shot missing and no good. A whistle blows, and we got a quick pause in the action. Mass substitution coming in for Henderson State. 5:43 left to go in this one, and if you're Doug Nichols, you just can't afford to have your team give up on you at this point in the ballgame.
Well, especially right. Nichols right now is just trying to tell his players, calm down. You can't quite give up. You're down by a margin. He's going to try to let some of the starters rest and then come back maybe for a last push here in the final 5.5 minutes.
Lester Johnson gets it down low. 2-point shots on the way it in for Andrew Igsley, and he draws the foul on his way up.
And that's exactly the type of play Henderson needed to kind of get a spark, just get a run. That's the funny thing about basketball. You never know when that one basket is going to spark that big run for you toward the end of the game to try to get that deficit a little bit closer, or at least a win.
Timeout on the floor, 5:35 left to go in the ball game. 63-50 our score. And we've got plenty of basketball to be played in this one. And, you know, what is so surprising, Blake, is that Southwestern Oklahoma took the lead and never looked back. Henderson State has not been able to stay up with them in any stretch of the imagination, and that's uncharacteristic of this Ready team, no matter who they're playing.
Right, and as we mentioned, the Henderson State team, very good team in conference play. They've seen these teams several times, 11-5 in GAC play, so that kind of tells you they finished second, only behind Arkansas Tech, who is ranked number 21 in the nation right now. So this Henderson State team, very surprising for them to be down, let alone down by 12 points in the final 5.5 to go.
Howell to Donahoe, and now a steal coming away with it, Andrew Inslee. He'll fire it too. It's on the way in, but they call the charge.
I got to tell you, that charge seemed
Watch this.
a little
Watch
light.
this.
We'll take a replay.
See, is this a charge or what? Let's watch it.
Take a look right here. There's a steal.
We thought we had the replay, but it's all right. We'll onward and upward. Back at the free throw line, Zach Howell will fire his first free throw.
And going back to that play, however, though, that charge, that seemed a little bit ticky to me, as I thought he did a good job of not avoiding. There was barely any contact, if any at all. Maybe brushed his jersey, but I thought that was a little ticky-tack.
Next free throw's up and coming. Zach Howell with his second one. It's on the way and in. 65-53 our score, 5:22 left to go in this ball game. Henderson State's Lester Johnson out of the backcourt. They're working to the left wing. Long threes off the rim, no good. Rebound, Southwestern Oklahoma. Cornelius tried to elbow his way out of traffic.
Actually, that's probably not the person you really want to get to the free throw line right now, as Cornelius has been playing extremely well, 7 of 8 from the field so far with 18 points. He's 4 of 5 from long range, and I tell you, he's had a pretty hot hand so far this game.
65-53 our score, 5:12 left to go in the ball game. Shots up, shots in. 66-53 our score. 13-point lead, I believe, for the Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs. Got a 14-point lead. Its next free throw's on its way and in. Back the other direction comes Lester Johnson from Henderson. He'll work it to the top of the key. Dribble inside, he's double teamed. Outward pass to the left wing. A three-pointer won't go. Rebound to Southwestern Oklahoma State. Dominic Cornelius kicks it back over to Chase Elliott. Elliott out of the backcourt, moving from right to left. From our vantage point, 2-point shot, hangs on the rim and won't fall. Coming up with it is Dominic Cornelius, but the whistle blows, and we've got substitutions forthcoming.
And Cornelius he's been able to pick up 5 rebounds, so he's been getting it done not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, he's contributing as well. I have to say right now, he's probably been a big reason why this team is ahead like they are. However, they've been doing a very good job of getting the points around, as they've had 4 people with over 10 points this game, and once again we see why they're top in the assists in the conference.
Long threes, in and out, no good for the Reddies, and they tried to shoot it from long range. Denzel Lyles trying that one, and now a second shot won't go for Joe McCoy. Basketball is tipped out of bounds, and they say the Bulldogs had the last touch, so Henderson State will keep it right here, I think. Inbound pass is going to come from Diorve Johnson.
And Henderson State, only shooting 14% from the three-point line, and it just has not been their day from long range.
Jonathan Fitzgerald makes that shot. Ryan Donahoe will come up with the basketball. He'll take it out of the backcourt for the Bulldogs. We'll try to get you set up on the bracket here in a few minutes and tell you who will play who, depending on the winner of this ball game. Cornelius' shot for threes hit it out, no good. Denzel Lyles will come away with it. They'll move it into the front court. No look pass to the left wing. And now an outward pass to the right wing for Fitzgerald. He travels with the basketball, so the Bulldogs will be able to move the other direction.
That's exactly what the Bulldogs were looking for. However, going back to that three-point shot by Cornelius, that kind of rimmed out. That's the second three-pointer in about 2 possessions that we've seen. One for Henderson, one for Southwestern. That ball just kind of rolled around on the inside, popped back out. The rim's not feeling very friendly today.
67-55 our score. 3:43 left to go in this ball game, and if the current trend continues, Southwestern Oklahoma State will cruise to a victory over Henderson State that was somewhat unexpected. I'll be totally honest with you. UAM will play the game, the winner of today's game, and that will happen Saturday at noon. So the winner of this ball game playing Saturday at noon against Arkansas Monticello, which if Southwestern Oklahoma State wins, it's kind of interesting for Charlie Schaaf, as of course he coached the Boll Weevils for 4 years in the early part of the last decade.
Well, there's always that kind of, I guess you want to say maybe intensity, the word I'm looking for, whenever you come back to the school that you coached out of for, you know, like you said, 4 years, you build a program up, you know, that's just enough time for those seniors or guys that you were recruiting to come in and play against you. So there's always that kind of interesting little factor playing against a team that you coached for so long.
3:43 left to go in this one. 67-55 our score. 12-point lead now for the Bulldogs of Southwestern Oklahoma State. And let's see what happens right here. The ball will be inbounded from just in front of the GAC Sports microphone here. Zach Howe will send it back into Chase Elliott. Elliott out of the backcourt, moving from right to left. And as he moves it into the paint, the player goes to the ground, and we'll see who gets called for the foul.
Looks like he got fouled pretty hard there. He's having a little time getting up. That's a little bit of a limp going around.
That's going to go on Denzel Lyles, as the legendary Sam Strasner has just graced press row with his presence. The voice of the Arkansas Tech Wonder Boys.
We're getting all kinds of celebrities here in Bartlesville. Not only that, Grant Merrill with the play-by-play known around the state.
You know, I don't know about that. Here's a free throw coming. Shots up on the way and in. Chase Elliott nails that one. Of course, Drew Brett tried to sign some autographs earlier in the day, but his pen ran out of ink. So.
Well, you know, he had him lined up around the corner, but I think he was charging $2 or $3, or maybe he was trying to pay people for an autograph.
I think he was. He ran out of money. Next free throw's up and coming. Shots up. It's on the way it in. That's money right there. 69-55 our score. And I hate to say it, but Henderson State just is almost playing like they've run out of gas.
Well, you know, they've been able to come in so close. They just haven't been able to find their shot today, and sometimes that happens in basketball. You just have a day where you just can't quite find the rim.
Elliott passes forward, moves it off to Zach Howe. Howe with a quick throw to Ryan Donahoe. 3:10 left to go. Donahoe kicks it back over to Zach Howe again. We'll move it over to Chase Elliott. 3 minutes even left to go in this one. Elliott backed out toward the time stripe. Almost loses it. Gets it over to an open teammate, Torek. And now down under the goal, Cornelius tries to put up a shot and draws a foul.
Once again, they're going to send Southwestern to the free throw line, which shooting over 90% in the game, which is really incredible. I can probably count the number of times I've seen that on maybe one hand, let alone in a college-type situation.
Back at the free throw line, Dominic Cornelius will try this free throw. It's on the way it in. 70-55 our score. Charlie Schaaf's going to be a happy camper today.
Oh, yeah, especially when you're coming in. You know, maybe not a lot of people have figured that this would probably be an upset game. Henderson looked like on paper, as you mentioned, you know, they might have been the better team coming in, but Southwestern proving all the critics wrong so far today.
Down on the baseline, running jumpers off the rim and no good for Diorve Johnson. And Southwestern Oklahoma State will take it the other direction. Into the front court comes Dominic Cornelius. And gives back over to an open teammate. That's Howe. Down to Cornelius again. Up front, 2-point shots on the way in for Chase Elliott. And just like that, we've got a 72-55 ball game. Here's a 2-pointer on the way in for Andrew Inslee.
Well, an interesting stat that you look at if you're Henderson, you out-rebound the team by 10. You have a plus 10 rebound margin, and you're still down. You know, that's one of those situations where you're looking at, and you just kind of have to look at paper, and you kind of scratching your head. How does that even happen?
2:09 left to go in this one, and a break in the action. Southwestern Oklahoma State will move on to play UAM on Saturday at noon if the current trend continues. We've got a timeout on the floor. 2:09 left to go in this one. We'll take a break and be back right after this on the GAC Sports Network.
Did you know the Ford F-150 was just named Motor Trend's 2012 Truck of the Year? It's all in the name, Motor Trend. See, the Ford F-150 is the only truck out there with EcoBoost, which is a powerful motor that also delivers on the trend of excellent gas mileage. It's the perfect combo, power and fuel economy. Try 365 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque, and an estimated 22 miles per gallon. No other truck engine has numbers like that. This is the future. This is the Ford F-150, built Ford tough.
Welcome back. 72-57 our score. See if we can get the Goggle Girls on TV here in just a second. Well, now they've got their backs to us. I was trying to get them set up for a shot, and they wanted to wave to their parents at home and everything.
Now about the time we get one looking one way, they turn the other around.
72-57. That's what happens to guys like me and you. We walk up and they just turn the other direction. Happens with all females, it seems like. The only person that doesn't happen to is Drew Brent.
Well, of course, I think I saw him hanging around there around halftime trying to hit up a couple of numbers and get to tour Oklahoma a little bit better.
There you go. 2:09 left to go in this one. You'd like Weatherford this time of year, Brent. Out at the free throw line, it'll be Chase Elliott. First free throw's up and coming. The shot is up, on the way, and in. There you go. 73-57 our score. And now we will have a pretty big break between these games as the Tech SAU game does not start until 6 o'clock tonight. So next free throw's up and coming. Shots up and on the way. Good. I hear that the president of JBM Productions, Jason Moyer, is treating us all to steak at the Cattlemen's Club tonight. So
I think I've heard that myself, along maybe even
long threes on the way in for Henderson State. 74-60 our score. 1:52 left to play here out of the backcourt. Here comes Southwestern Oklahoma State is called for an offensive foul. He threw an arm out there, and they called him for it.
And right now, if you're Southwestern right now, you just have to play smart basketball. You have a 14-point advantage with about 2 minutes, a little under 2 minutes left to go in the ball game. You just have to be careful not getting any silly fouls.
2-point shots off the iron, no good, won't fall. And now Donahoe will try to take it the other direction for the Bulldogs. He'll work it back over to Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott back down to Donahoe. He's double teamed, but we've got a timeout taken by Charlie Schaaf and the Bulldogs. 1:25 left to play. Our score 74-60 in favor of Southwestern Oklahoma State. We will take another timeout and be back right after this. You're watching the GAC Sports Network.
What makes Henderson a better choice in education? Is it the campus or the buildings? Is it class size or professors with PhDs? Is it the cost, the value? What is it about Henderson?
It's me.
A strong educational foundation from Henderson put Richard Jacobs on the road to becoming a doctor. Today, he's at the forefront of pediatric research and care. Henderson prepares today's students for tomorrow because what counts is what you become. Henderson State University.
Welcome back. 74-60 our score. 1:23 left to go in this one. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you. And there's a two-pointer on the way in for Dominic Cornelius to give Southwestern Oklahoma State a 16-point lead. 1:10 left to play. From the right wing, a three-pointer on the way, off the iron, no good. Rebound Bulldogs. Chase Elliott with the basketball. He'll push forward. Long twos on the way and in. Running jumper for Cornelius.
Cornelius has been playing fairly well tonight. Hasn't missed many shots at all, and that's why he's got over 20 points in this game. I believe that's going to give him 23.
Long threes off the glass, no good. Rebound, Southwestern Oklahoma State. The Bulldogs will cruise to victory, and they will live on to play UAM coming up on Saturday at noon.
We got to tell you, we've seen a really good game by the Bulldogs so far. As you mentioned, they're just going to keep on going to victory and let the clock run with only about 25 seconds left to go in the game.
We will have the victory press conference with Charlie Schaaf coming up after the ball game. We'll also hear from Coach Nichols as they round out their season. Look at that. Dominic Cornelius nails another three to rub a little salt in the wound.
5 of 7 from the three-point line so far in this game. Cornelius with 28 points. He has just been on fire.
81-60, our final score. Southwestern Oklahoma State will defeat Henderson here in Bartlesville in the opening round of the GAC Conference Tournament. So, with that said, we're going to wrap it up here on the floor of the press conference. Coming up next, Drew and I will be back at 6 o'clock. You and I will be back at 8:30. We got a lot of basketball to be played later this evening, Blake.
I know, I can't wait. I'm excited. A lot of good games so far today. We had an upset with Henderson State, Southwest Oklahoma State, so a lot more exciting basketball coming up, and I bet it's only going to get better as the games go on.
All right, our final score, 81-60. We're back with more here in about an hour and a half. Thanks for watching as Southwestern Oklahoma State defeats Henderson State. Post-game and press conference analysis coming up next on the GAC Sports Network.